Now, this is a little different kind of video for me, and I think a little bit different video than what you'll normally see. Usually, you hear people complain about insurance companies, especially. I know I didn't expect to have a good experience with one, but I thought, hey, they treated me pretty good. I should make a video about it. A couple weeks ago, I was traveling to Boston for a plane I had to catch to go to Denver. Luckily, I was traveling the night before, because I had to catch a really early flight. I was traveling for work, and on my way there, in my fairly new 2022 Ram Rebel, I was rear-ended on the interstate, pretty hard, hard enough where the truck that hit the rear of me pushed me into the vehicle in front of me. We were almost at a stop. There was a 68 or 69 Camaro broke down on the side of the road right at the same point as traffic stopped. And it was interesting because it caught my eye. I saw the car, and then immediately, I turned my attention to in front of me just as traffic came to a complete stop. And at the same time, I looked up in my rearview mirror, which was a sweet digital rearview mirror, and saw the truck behind me wasn't going to stop. And the reason I looked is because that car took my attention. I was concerned maybe it took the person behind me, maybe it took their attention away too, and it did. Hit me pretty hard. He was probably going 30, 40 miles an hour, which from almost a stop is quite a hit. Before I even could get the truck running again, the guy was at my window, asking me if I was okay. And the first thing I said to him was, "You were looking at that Camaro, weren't you?" And he nodded, yeah. And I said, "I'm not mad. It's an accident. That's why they call them that." He didn't, he definitely didn't want to hit me. And it's the last thing he wanted on his way home from work to have happen. And, what are you going to get mad about? What are you going to do? He called the police. The state troopers showed up, and the truck was towed. It was leaking antifreeze out of the front end. I didn't really even look at it that closely, didn't care. The truck got towed, and I took a bus to the airport to stay at the hotel so I could still catch my plane in the morning. So let me just put up a couple pictures to show you the truck. It really doesn't look that bad, but it's a little bit worse than what it looks. So now that you've seen that, let's talk a little bit about the experience with the insurance company. So he rear-ended me, so it was pretty clear that I was not at fault at all. From a hotel room in Denver, because I was traveling for work, I contacted his insurance company. They were already aware of the claim. The person that hit me already had contacted them and started the claim for me, which was great. And so we got started. They set me up with a rental. That ended up being a little bit of a nightmare because I had to get back to the airport in Boston, which I expected to pick up the rental there. But airports don't deal, or at least Enterprise at the airport doesn't deal with insurance. And it was 6:30 at night. The rental place I was supposed to pick up the vehicle was just a little bit down the road, but they were closed already. Like I said, about 6:30 at night, and so I paid for the rental. This was a good experience as well, sort of. So I told them, I said, I want a Ram truck. I was driving a truck that was totaled, and that's what I want, and that's what the insurance company agreed to pay for as well, because surprisingly, they said, we will put you in something comparable to what you were driving, which was surprising to me. So I tell them I want a Ram truck. They get it all set. They figured out they have one there at the airport, but I'm going to have to pay for it because they're not going to deal with the insurance company. And so I said, yeah, go ahead. I want it. And they came back and were like, that's like $450 for one night for this truck. And so I wasn't going to do that. I said, you know what? Give me your cheapest car. Like, I don't care what it is. I want to get home. I'm about 2.5 hours away from home. Been traveling for 4 days, and just give me something. So the guy at the desk, he shows me some paperwork, points out the super cheap compact car they're going to give me, and then says, this is what you're going to get. And then he moves his finger down the paper a little bit to a mid-size car, like Chargers and stuff, and says, but I'm going to actually put you in one of these instead. And then slides his finger down a little bit more and says, I'm actually going to give you the pickup truck you wanted for the same price as a subcompact. So that was pretty awesome. It was because of I told them what happened, why I was there, why I had to get a rental, and they felt bad that they couldn't deal with the insurance, so he hooked me up, which was pretty sweet. Problem with it was they told me the truck had to be returned to an airport, which the nearest airport to me is Manchester, which is another hour and a half away from my house. So I would have had to drive home at night and then drive back to Manchester with my wife and then go to another rental place to pick up the insurance rental. And luckily I called a local enterprise the next morning and they said they could actually set me up to, they took over the contract. I was able to keep the truck that I had for a rental. It was a brand new Ram Bighorn, nicely optioned, nice truck. So I know the story is getting kind of long, but I wanted to explain a little bit. So this insurance company hooked me up with the truck. They paid for it for as long as I was going to need it, while my truck was being evaluated at a collision shop. Now, I had it towed to a place, and then the insurance company had it towed to another place. It was basically a big car dealership that has a big collision shop. And they do things differently. Instead of just having an insurance appraiser come out and tell you, what the damages are, how much it's going to cost, they actually disassemble the truck and they get a quote that way. So they get a really accurate quote. They didn't need to do all that though, because I already knew the frame was bent and that I wasn't going to want the truck back. So I'll put up a couple photos of what the truck looked like when I went back to it to pick up my stuff. I was shocked to see how much they had taken it apart. So before I went there, though, and had to get my stuff out of it, I had contacted the insurance company and the collision shop and said, this truck's got a bent frame, and I don't want it back. Even if you were to replace the frame, which is what they said they were going to do, is do a complete frame replacement. I said, I don't want it. This is almost a brand new truck. It was a 2022, had 17,000 miles on it. So miles were getting a little bit up there, but it was still essentially like a brand new truck. And that's a huge depreciation on my end. So they actually transferred it like right away to a total loss claims representative, which handled the rest of it for me, which I was shocked that they moved so quick. It was like the next day or the same day that I heard back that it was moving to total loss. So they sent me some paperwork pretty quickly with the total loss amount that they would pay for the truck. I had already done a ton of research. I knew what the truck was worth. And this was another thing that shocked me about this insurance company is normally, at least from what I've read online and what I've learned over the years, is that the first offer from the insurance company will be some lowball offer that you shouldn't take. It's just the way they operate. They want to get out of the deal as cheap as they can. They'll offer you, quite a bit less than what the real cash value is of the vehicle. And if you accept it, good for them. Well, they didn't do that. I was shocked. They offered me about exactly what Kelley Blue Book private retail value was. Not like what you're going to get on a dealer lot or what, it was a couple $1,000s less than some dealerships had a similar truck on their lot for, but who's actually going to pay that full price? Usually people will get it at a discount, a little bit. I was happy with the offer. Another interesting thing about this was a lease. And a lot of people online seem to think, and maybe it's like this in some states or different insurance companies, but that the lease company will get all the money and you'll get nothing. Luckily in my case, so I had a ton of money down on my lease because I traded in a truck that I had a lot of equity in. And I was like, go ahead, roll that equity onto the lease, make my payments super cheap. I know that there's people out there say don't ever put money down on a lease, like you're just wasting money. Kind of true, kind of not. In this case, it kind of worked out for me. So the offer amount was a fair amount more than what I owed on the buyout of the lease. So my lease company, you could buy the truck anytime you wanted. You didn't have to wait for the end of the lease. It's just, this is an amount you can buy it for. And I'm not talking like $2,000-$3,000. I'm talking a significant amount of money. So I contacted the insurance company right away and said, here's the buyout for my truck. Here's my account number. Can you pay for the truck and send me the remainder because I want that money for my next truck? I didn't think they'd do it. I figured there'd be some sort of issue, like they can't do that. Well, they agreed to it. And then, like say 5 days later, something like that, they've already gave me the money. It actually showed up today. I got an email saying, how do you want your money? I could do a debit card transfer. And so I picked that option and boom, the money was in my account right away, which is a good thing because I'm about to show you that money's already been spent. But anyways, so I haven't mentioned the insurance company's name yet, but now I think I will. It was Liberty Mutual. It was Safeco was the division from Liberty Mutual, and they treated me so good. The whole experience right from the get-go was just so great. Like I just kept waiting for, okay, when's the other shoe gonna drop? When am I gonna get screwed? When are they gonna try to really screw me over? They never did. They never tried to do that. They treated me great. They're obviously they're not paying me to make this video. They don't even know I'm making it. But yeah, Liberty Mutual, they treated me so good. I may even change my insurance company to them. Just all out good experience considering, how bad things were. Like my truck was just totaled. We're going camping soon. I need a truck. I live on a crappy dirt road that's mud season right now. I need it. So worked out great. Now, why is that money already spent? Well, let's talk about that. This is my brand new Ram Limited. It's a special edition 10th anniversary model. It is incredibly sweet, and maybe partly why I want to make this video. I want to show it off a little bit. Like, I love this truck. It's got 200 miles on it right now. I've driven it only a handful of times. It was a leftover, and I bought it on the second to the last day of the month. And so I was able to get a smoking deal on this truck. Really good deal. So I love it. I used the money from the insurance, the overage, as a down payment on this. Had to come up with that money myself until the money showed up today. And yeah, I just want to show a little bit about this. This thing's got every option. It's got, the only option it does not have is a sunroof. It's got powered running boards. This is part of the special edition. Like, all this is a fabric. Everything is leather wrapped. There's no real plasticky stuff in here. Here's the badge for the special edition. I've still got plastic on the floor mats because it's, like I said, it's mud season right now, and so I figured I'll just preserve those for as long as I can. It's got the big screen, so I already got my fingerprints on it. The digital rear view mirror, which to me it was a must-have. which seems silly, but once you've had one, it's hard to not. It's got heads-up display. It's got all the options like the adaptive cruise control, which is also super nice. I didn't have that in my last truck. This is an off-road package. So because it's an off-road package, which I didn't even see in any other limiteds, you get the lock and rear axle, which is just like my Rebel had. It's got the, I don't know if it's a shift on the fly transfer case, but not all transfer cases have four-wheel drive auto. This one does. This nice jeweled knob is part of the special edition package. The only thing I need to do is install a brake controller for the tow package, which it does have the whole tow package, just not the brake controller, but I'll put that in myself. Seats are absolutely gorgeous. The whole truck is just amazing. It's got the 19 speaker Harman Kardon stereo system in it. Like I said, the power running boards are sweet. I have to keep watching out because I won't let him in the truck, and he will try to sneak in if he can. Just here's the rear. Also really nice. I've got a car seat just sitting in there. It's got the rubber floor mats, but they got carpet inserts, which is pretty sweet. The rear seats are heated and vented. Vented rear seats is pretty rare. Heated is not super common, but vented is like really uncommon. One other thing I want to show that goes along with this off-road package. I think all limiteds have air suspension. So they have this adjustable suspension right here. Let's see if I can. So right here you get the raise lower button. And right now this is sitting at, this is the aero height, but you can go down to an entry level height, so it can go quite a bit lower than it is right now. You can go up to normal height, and then it's got off-road. Off-road will only let you go up, right now it's lowering on its own for some reason. But off-road will let you go like way up, like quite a bit. You can obviously tell a truck looks like it has a lift kit, mild lift kit in it when we're in off-road. And you can only go 20 miles an hour when you're in that state, which I think if I remember correctly with my Rebel, that's as fast as you can go with the rear diff locked as well. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. Really love this truck. It all worked out. You know, the accident sucked, especially having to catch a plane the next morning. I could have easily just backed out of the trip, but I didn't want to. And you know, I wasn't hurt. There was no reason really to not just continue on. But it worked out. You know, I ended up with a beautiful truck. I'm paying a little bit more than I was paying for the Rebel, but not a significant amount more. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and thanks to Liberty Mutual Safeco for taking care of me. I appreciate it.